Yes, the race for the 8 continues in the third of 3 live games tonight on Super Saturday. We're in Townsville at Dairy Farmer Stadium. It's the Cowboys up against the Seagulls. Thanks for joining us, everybody. Warren Smith, Greg Alexander and Ben Eichen to bring you all the action of this one tonight. An all top 8 clash with the Cowboys trying to hang on to their spot inside the top 4. The Seagulls trying to bump them out of it and take over 4th place themselves in what is the NRL Close the Gap round, highlighting the difference in life expectancy between Indigenous and not Indigenous Australians. We'll tell you more about that as the game develops tonight. Brandy, take us through the Seagulls lineup.
Yeah, Brett Stewart returns at the back. George Tafua and David Williams are the wingers. Jamie Lyon and Steve Matai in the centres. Kieran Foran and Daly Cherry Evans the halves. The forwards, Lussick, Ballon and Kite up front. Watmo, Williams and Stewart the back row. And the interchange bench of Rose, Nullavow, Bura and Vic Morrow.
They have mixed their form in recent times, the defending premiers. The Cowboys coming off a loss last week to the Bulldogs. Matt Bowen is their fullback. Ashley Graham returns from injury on the wing. Antonio Winterstein on the other wing. Tate and Linnett in the centres, and Thurston and Morgan are the halves. The forward pack is Scott. Aaron Payne announced his retirement earlier in the week. James Tarmo is there in the front row. Cooper, Hall and Johnson are the back rowers. And the bench, Sims and Bolton joined by Ray Thompson, the halfback come hooker. We'll see him play some dummy half tonight. Returning from a shoulder injury, and Joel Reithmuller is an inclusion once again on the bench for Neil Henry. All quiet in the Cowboys dressing room downstairs on the sideline. Ben Eichen joins us. They've mixed their form in recent times, Manly. As we said, I wonder which Sea Eagles will turn up here tonight.
Yeah, it's been an interesting lead into this game for both teams. The last 3 weeks for the Seagulls has included losses to the Knights and the Bulldogs, while last week it was an ugly come-from-behind win over the Warriors. Now, I think that's the type of win that some teams need to rediscover their form. The Cowboys, on the other hand, 2 weeks ago, won a game of touch footy against the Tigers, but it was last week's loss to the Bulldogs I think they'll get more out of. This is shaping as a great game of rugby league.
There is no doubt about that. What an effort it was by this side last week to come from behind, a long way from behind, to beat the Warriors. Brett Stewart is back. 7 tries from 13 games in 2012 and 120 tries overall in his remarkable career.
Yeah, 3 games on the sidelines with that hamstring injury. Missed the option out the back that he provides. Their attack will be better with Brett Stewart in the lineup. Glenn Stewart, of course, only back 2 games himself from that knee injury that saw him miss Origin 3. It's been an in and out. You're only playing his 10th game for the season, Glenn Stewart, as the Cowboys make their way onto the field.
Also sporting their Indigenous jerseys in this Close the Gap round here tonight, as are the Sea Eagles. Several players wearing decorated boots, which will be up for auction at the end of this game. Gavin Cooper has found a home back in familiar territory in North Queensland. 6 tries this venue in 2012. Can be a threat on that left-hand side. He's loved working off the playmaker Jonathan Thurston, who gets a bit of a tap there from Matty Bowen, who has been absolutely electric this season.
Oh, he was brilliant a couple of weeks ago here against the Tigers. Mesmerised them with his footwork and his speed. I hope we see plenty of it tonight. We've got some high-profile players in great form here for this clash.
Time you're on, boys.
It's time on in Townsville, and Daly Cherry Evans supplies the kickoff, which bounces down for Bowen to take it and gives it off to Mascot, who brings it out. The Cowboys trying to maintain their position in the top 4. They can do no better with a win tonight than 4th place, which they occupy at the moment, but they need to keep themselves in that position, with the top 4 having the advantage of being a win away from week 3 of the finals in this new final system this season. Bowen a shift out towards Brent Tate, and he'll play it here just inside the 30. The opening tackles of this one. They'll work it forward through Hall, who'll play it there in the tackle of Ballon. And now Aaron Payne, who, as we said, announced his retirement in the lead up to this game, giving it off to Dallas Johnson, who plays at 5 on his own side of halfway. Bowen's kick out towards the sideline, and no urgency shown there by Tafua nor Brett Stewart. And they'll find the touchline about 15 out from Manly's line.
He did a good job there, Matty Bowen, to split the winger and the fullback. I don't know if he hit it exactly how he wanted to. It started to curve towards that sideline. Might have been a little bit too close for comfort. But a good set from the Cowboys. They got it out near the halfway. for the kick from Bowen.
The Cowboys have a poor record overall against the Seagulls, winning just 7 of 18. The record is better here at Dairy Farmers Stadium, where they've won 5 of their past 7 against Manly right here.
James, up now!
Tony Williams plays it for Ballon at dummy half. Cherry Evans a shift straight away to line. Williams comes away from the sideline. Good tackle in cover coming across by Thurston. But both sides showing a willingness to use the ball early in this one here tonight. It was a track and field meet 2 weeks ago against the Tigers on Monday Night Football here. We've got in store tonight. Here they go again. Back to the left-hand side now. Stewart away to Matai. Matai up against Tate. Well, several mouth-watering encounters tonight to look forward to as Foran comes back to Williams, who works it up towards the 30. Threatening to offload, but hanging on to it. And they have one more tackle. They go back to the short side for Foran to chip it towards the in-goal area, but Bowen getting across, sliding into second base and taking it on the fall, and almost getting carried back into the in-goal area for his trouble. It was a good catch. They had him suspended in mid-air for a moment. Graham working it forward. Here's Tate now. One-handed catch coming across to Thurston, a shift to Linnett as they go from sideline to sideline inside their own 20. They are spreading the ball and using it in these firm, dry conditions, as usual here in Townsville.
That's the sort of football we saw a fortnight ago against the Tigers. Lots of ball movement from both ends, both sides of the field.
Fast and furious start to this one as Thurston kicks from around about the halfway line. It goes down in behind to Fua, who is really cemented a spot on the left wing for the Seagulls this year. He's under pressure here. They've got him wrapped up. A good kick and a good chase after Manly did the same thing at the other end of the field. Now Williams coming midfield, looking for a carry. They'll carry him back towards the end goal. And they're allowed to do so. He was in contact with the turf, and it was play on, and they just about got him back in there. Now Kite, who was tremendous last week, and come from behind victory against the Warriors, ran for plenty of metres. Something like 17 hit-ups in that effort as well. Darcy Lussick in the starting side playing it. Now Watmo was able to escape suspension for that chicken wing tackle coming out of last week's game in Perth against the Warriors. And Cherry Evans' kick, spiral torpedo, floats all the way down to Ashley Graham. Try scoring blitz in 2012. He was picked up at a solid tackle there by Tafua. Came down on the flat of his back. The referees were happy with it. Let's play on for the Cowboys, who get a penalty.
Top the ball, mate. Don't come up with it.
Well, the first of the night, the Cowboys should put themselves down deep in Manly territory after the kick from Thurston. Ashley Graham straight into George Tafua, who upended him.
Then on the next play, Tony Williams, a hand in the play of the ball, trying to slow it down. There is Tafua. Scored the try right before half-time last week, which sparked Manly. Coming from 18 points down. The Cowboys just outside the 20 of Manly. Tarmo back on the angle, grabbed there by Ballon and also Watmo. Thurston out to the left-hand side, gets a chance at first receiver. He goes out the back to Bowen. A cut-out ball away to Winterstein, who gets swamped by the Manly cover defence. Williams and Stewart were both there. Williams clutches at his shoulder. He's okay. Great defence by the Manly winger and also fullback, sliding across.
Yeah, it was a contact from David Williams. The Wolfmen got him first. Brett Stewart just there to help him over the sideline, but Antonio Winterstein is a powerful player. You need that sort of effort to put him over the sideline. David Williams got up clutching at that left shoulder. He looks okay.
Nice and tight, Matt. That's better. Hold him in there tight till it's out.
First rate really against their line.
Ball in. Ball in. Out. Yours, mate. Yep.
So Manly win the scrum, and it's Williams in those fluoro orange boots. He'll play at 5 in his own 20 as they come to the right-hand side for Kite to do their hard yards from their own end as Ballon. Down the short side, Cherry Evans away to Lyon. Good tackle there by Thurston, again around the legs as they test him out on this left edge of the Cowboys defensive line, and then Williams tests out that shoulder. He's okay as he plays it back at the halfway. Here's Foran. He's giving it to Lussick for a settler as he drops out the back to bark some instructions. Comes to Cherry Evans to put the kick in the air, a midfield bomb. Wait and see if the Cowboys plan it. They don't, and coming through, Cherry Evans took it, gave it to Williams. It might be play on, picked up by the Wolfman, who gets tackled a couple of metres short.
Well, Daly Cherry Evans did a great job. It was a poor kick. The pressure from Gavin Cooper saw Cherry Evans just throw it up in the air. He rectified that by taking it, shrugging away from Jonathan Thurston, and almost coming up with a 4-pointer involving the Wolfman, David Williams.
It was definitely play on there for Manly. And Williams got across the line. It looked like they had the opening try. Oh, here's a shot coming in. Matai has rocked Glenn Hall. And he's forced a turnover, charging in from the blind side. Foran goes to the line. Manly a chance off a Matai detonation. Now Watmo. He'll play it about 3 metres out from the Cowboys line. Ballon at dummy half. Cherry Evans, a flat ball there for Glenn Stewart. Jamie Lyon trying to get to the outside of Linnets, who had to stick with him, was able to wrap him up. 8 metres away. Brett Stewart comes across to Cherry Evans. Here's Kite, straightening, spinning in the tackle. Hanging onto the ball, though. They've got 2 more tackles, the Cowboys, to hang on. Cherry Evans, rubbering for Stewart. Well read by Bowen, who was shadowing that side of the field, and the Cowboys survive.
Yeah, positioned himself perfectly there, Matty Bowen. Impressed with the defensive work, too, from Kane Linnett. He's been in good form with the football, but a real challenge tonight up against Jamie Lyon.
Boy, a solid tackle there also from Brent Kite on Matt Scott. You rock the front runner. They go wide straight away. Morgan taking them on, running towards Foran and Williams, who had a hand between the legs but didn't lift in the tackle, but will give away another penalty. Too slow getting out of it for the referee's liking. I get the impression the Cowboys needed that.
Well, the Steve Matai shot gave Manly another set on Glenn Hall. They were able to withstand that. There's the Matai hit. Glenn Hall blindsided him, didn't see him coming from the outside. He can hit, can't he?
That's a rib check, isn't it?
Tony Williams relieving all the pressure on the Cowboys.
Steve Matai relieving the air from Glenn Hall's lungs with a shot like that. Tamo plays it. Here's Payne turning it back on the inside for Johnson. The Cowboys coming on the attack once again. Both sides have had chances in the opening 10 minutes of this one as Thurston goes to Scott underneath. Comes towards Glenn Stewart. And also Darcy Lussick, who's out there with Jason King. Not able to back up after suffering a rib injury last week against the Warriors. A mistake here by Johnson. And the Seagulls on the counter-attack straight away. Foran shows a clean pair of heels. Bowen comes to him and tracks him down 30 out from the Cowboys line. A chance with a back line spread to the right-hand side to test them out. Here's Glenn Stewart going back towards the play the ball. He links up with his brother Brett, and they'll play it 25 metres away. A chance again for Manly. Another mistake by the Cowboys, this one from inside the opposition territory. And it's Watmo to play it as he gets back to his feet eventually. Ballon goes from dummy half. Payne might have been lucky to be called onside there. He was floating in no man's land and got involved in the tackle. Cherry Evans showing it, coming across the face of them, giving it to Glenn Stewart. He again heads towards the uprights, opening up on the right-hand side. They go back to the left, though, for Foran. Puts it on the toe. A chance for Williams. He got there, but they want to check the put-down.
Cowboys defender isn't obstructed from coming across. Okay, just go back to the kick, Clarkie. Make sure no Cowboys obstructs.
Okay, there's the other question that they're going to ask of the video referee, whether there was obstruction. Gee, I thought the pass was on too. I thought the pass was on from Kieran Foran. He was into some space there, Tony Williams. He got the... Well, look at the obstruction. He got to the ball first, whether he put it down or not. Well, there's a Cowboy on the ground, and that's where I thought Foran was running the ball. There's Tony Williams. He decided to kick it. Anthony Watmo is the Manly player that has come through as the decoy. Williams looks like he gets there first and gets the ball down.
It's Glenn Hall's coming across, who, well, hard to see the point of contact there with Anthony Watmo, who was running the decoy line back on the angle. They might need another look at this to sort of see where the point of contact is, because Glenn Hall hit the deck acrobatically, didn't he?
Well, it looked like he threw himself. There was no touch. He didn't. Anthony Watmo did not touch Glenn Hall. Glenn Hall's dived across the front of him. Now, if he had have stayed on his feet, Glenn Hall, he might have been able to pick a. Oh, gee, what was he doing? Did he dive because he couldn't run across? What?
Maybe he was just trying to milk it to make it look good for the video referee. It's going to be no try. I've got no doubt there was a little bit of contact there, but boy, Glenn Hall really sold it, didn't he?
Well, I thought he sold it poorly because I didn't think there was any contact. I thought
he's knocked him over in the line. He's taken his opportunity away to defend it, and now he kicked the ball. Okay?
Anthony Watmo's.
I thought he would have sold it a lot better if he just stayed on his feet and ran into him, which might have happened if he did stay on his feet. I don't know if they're trying to second guess themselves, but if there's no contact.
Hold there, boys. With your feet there. Hold, mate.
Well, a break for what we could see for the North Queensland Cowboys early on here, and Anthony Watmo has already told Glenn Hall, I'm after you. I've got your number. Look out if I get a chance to put a shot on you, a la Steve Matai. Here is Gavin Cooper working it up towards the halfway line as we go downstairs to Ben Eichen.
Yeah, it was already so far in this game. The Cowboys have been unable to complete 3 sets. They're 4 from 7. Now, the Cowboys have the second worst completion rates in the competition, but they still managed to score the equal most points as we see them bumble and fumble their way through this set. Now, the message here is that if the Cowboys can hold the ball, if they can get up to 75-80%, imagine how lethal they could be in attack.
And they get a chance here at the back end of this set. Last play right now for Payne. Feeded across with Thurston, who puts it in the air. Some pressure on Tafua. Tate coming through. So was Graham. Tate had a play at it, but lost it. Brett Stewart picks it up. He beats one. He couldn't beat the chase, though, coming from behind of Glenn Hall, who wrapped him up, and they had to. Otherwise, he might have gone the length of the field.
Yeah, Michael Morgan just got a hand to him, and Glenn Hall was able to clean him up. Brent Kite's been powerful. It's a good start from Kite for Manly.
Here's Lussick offloading, giving it to Cherry Evans. It was touched by Thurston. There's 6 more tackles here for the Seagulls. Now Jamie Lyons has a pass knocked down. It comes off the trainer, but there was already a knock on against the Cowboys. And the crowd haven't seen that. David Penner. Here's the trainer, former first grader.
He's already knocked on. That's right. They got the call right, the referees. Jonathan Thurston just in his effort to get his hands on the ball. There's the ball straight into David Penner.
Let's go, boys. No, it was already knocked on. You played at the ball first. Yeah.
He's going to plead a case and try and pretend here, JT, but no doubt he knocked the ball down in the tackle.
Yeah, there were some nice hands in that passage of play from Daly Cherry Evans.
They've fallen off the scrum and gives it to Tony Williams, who pokes his nose through the lineup, takes a couple of them to drag him down after the initial contact was ineffective. And now Tate up in the face of Steve Matai, playing it just outside the Cowboys 30. Here's Watmo coming to Lussick, who to grips there with Aaron Payne, who needed some help from Scott and also Johnson. They've still got 3 plays in this set. They've had some chances, Manly, at this end. Denied by the video referee moments ago. Lyon running towards Linnets. He's able to take him to ground just outside the 10. Glenn Stewart comes across to Watmo. Running across the face of Payne, trying to get away from him. They'll wrap him up in front of the uprights with 1 more tackle left. He plays it for Ballon, who goes from dummy half and grubbers for himself. It was eventually too big. And now Matty Bowen bringing it back, wants to tap it and go. He got the all clear and then slips over. And he might have slipped over, changing direction because he saw Steve Maddai looming up in the windscreen and thought, oh, I don't want to run towards him at speed.
No, there was only a couple back there, wasn't there? Maddai and Darcy Lussick. Unfortunately for Manly, that Bowen did find his way to the ground.
Down the short side they come. Winterstein taking it across the halfway line. He goes across to Thurston. Here's Tamo. It's away from the Williams tackle. They'll hold him up off the ground through Lussick and also Kite. Last play again. This time Bowen chipping it towards the in goal. Brett Stewart getting to it in a hurry. Brings it back into the field of play. Wore a shot over the top there from Michael Morgan, but gets up pretty quickly to play it. And now George Defua is wrapped up on play number 2. Maddai from dummy half. Goes down the short side. Nothing doing there. And the Cowboys pouring in. 3 plays gone. They're 10 out from their own line.
And they give away a penalty. Brent Tate involved in all 3 tackles. And then gives away the penalty after all the good work that he'd done. Tate underneath, Morgan over the top. A real shot on Brett Stewart. Tate, Maddai. And this one was where the penalty resulted.
There's a real waste by the Cowboys. They had them struggling midway through their set. There's going to be a kick coming up from well inside Manly's half. Instead, here they are, almost back at the halfway line as Ballon gives it to Cherry Evans. Flat pass there for Kite at the advantage line. Immediate contact. Up on his face was Gavin Cooper. Made a good tackle. Now Lussick runs towards Dallas Johnson. He's already made a dozen tackles in this game. Forward at the back of Tony Williams. It goes to Brett Stewart. Maddai. Little outside, then in line. Plays it just inside the 20. Comes through Kieran Foran's hands. Away to Daly Cherry Evans. Shows it inside. Comes wide to Lyon. He puts a kick in. A chase for himself and the Wolfman. Winterstein has no choice but to take it out of play, and Manly have got themselves 6 more tackles.
He's got a very clever short kicking game, Jamie Lyon. Got the weight perfect on that one. Turned Winterstein around. I think you could hear the footsteps too. Lyon beating, going on the inside of Leonard Williams there. We'll get a repeat set.
Come on, John.
Almost 18 minutes gone. Still no score here at Dairy Farmer Stadium between the Cowboys and the Sea Eagles. So much on the line tonight. Both sides coming here on 26 points. Separated by the Broncos, who are in 5th place. All 3 of them
Make it, Gavin.
separated by differential. For and against. As Brett Stewart comes to Cherry Evans. Gets to Linnett. Comes one out the back to Jamie Lyon, who is nabbed straight away by Thurston. Here's Glenn Stewart showing it. Creates so much on this right-hand side for the Sea Eagles. His brother back in the lineup tonight, lurking out towards the left-hand side. Foran bypasses him, goes to Maddai, gets to the outside of Tate, who hung on by a bootlace. Otherwise, Maddai was in. Brett Stewart to Foran, now Tony Williams gives it to Kite. He's got Lussick on his outside, brought it back to the midfield, and they will play it 5 metres out on the last. Ballon again from dummy half, and once more grubbering, but it bounces up straight into the bread basket there of Matt Scott.
Well, that's twice now Matt Ballon's been happy to kick the ball out of dummy half. It was never really on. Too many players around to play the ball. I'd like to see Cherry Evans or Foran try and earn their sides to repeat sets. You'd also like to see Tony Williams stand a little bit deeper. Again, very flat.
Now a pass which almost went astray, but it came back to Ashley Graham after it was touched by a Sea Eagle, and as a result it's a new set of 6 here for the Cowboys. They'll take it across the halfway line on play number 1. All playing. Being rocked earlier in the game by that Maddai tackle. Showing no real effects though. Now Michael Morgan comes to Thurston at the back for Bowen. Lennon running the hole, bounces off Williams, got away from Cherry Evans. And from behind, the tackle was made by Lussick. It was a try-saver. Thurston chipping over the top, looking for the in-goal area, finding it. But Getting there to clean up is Brent Kite.
And what a job he did too, Brent Kite, to get back there and clean it up. On the roll, Linnett proving this year that he's turned into one of the best hole-running centres in the game. And then Thurston, the little chip, and the big man, Brent Kite. See how he started the game extremely well. Brent Kite, in the absence of Jason King, has really stood up and powered into this Cowboys defence. Linnett proving so hard to knock to the ground for most of the year.
It was some sort of collision between Linnett and the Wolfman. Big goal line dropout by Daly Cherry Evans. Morgan in his own territory to catch it. He gives it off to Ashton Sims, who is out there now for the Cowboys. Payne gets to dummy half. Gives away to Thurston, who works it forward. Chance again. George Rose also out there now with Lussick going back to the bench for Jeff Tuvey. Johnson just takes it for a settler while they get themselves organised on the right-hand side. Ahead there now as Morgan goes to Thurston. Wider still for Tate. Try and spin away from Foran. He fend away from the Manly 5'8". He's cleaned up on the inside by Tony Williams. Lost the ball there. Came up with it eventually, they said, as Sims runs straight and hard. Cut down by Ballon around the legs and Rose over the top. Last play to the short side. Bowen, not a great grubber. Straight to Kieran Foran. Both sides with like a couple of short kicks. Close to the line back again in the last 5 minutes of this one. Pretty meek turnover at the back end of that set as it turned down. As Manly go wide straight away. Here's Lyon running towards Linnett. Thurston coming across. Desperate to shut it down, and now Glenn Stewart on the angle, back in behind the play the ball. A good run by the lock forward at the 40. Here's Watmo. He'll follow suit. Pick up 10 metres for his side. I've got one more tackle here as Ballon goes back to Cherry Evans. No real pressure on him. The kick on the full, taken by Matty Bowen. He gets a chance to wind up. He runs back towards Cherry Evans and Ballon, and there was no backing off. If anything, he sped up as he got closer to them.
What you love about Bowen, he can skip across defenders, but then every now and then he can just run straight at them. Well, he picked his mark. He got two little men, but you know, he's an excitement machine, Matt Bowen.
He was incredible here a couple of weeks ago, wasn't he, against the Tigers on Monday Night Football. Now Morgan standing in the tackle and spinning. He lost his bearings, threw an awful pass and turned it over to the Sea Eagles. It will be Manly who get possession here with the scrum feed coming up just on their own side of halfway. And as we've made mention several times today on Super Saturday, today is the Close the Gap round that highlights Indigenous heritage, and of course players hoping to inspire rugby league fans this weekend to pledge their support, trying to help reduce the life expectancy gap of more than a decade which exists at the moment between Indigenous and non-Indigenous Australians. You can go to www.oxfam.org.au/close-the-gap to find out more and to also donate. As Manly win the scrum, it's Matai to play it in Cowboys territory. A deadlock in this one after 23 minutes. Brent Kite will eventually get to his feet to play it here for Cherry Evans. Little head fake as he headed back towards the traffic. Wrapped up there by Ashton Sims. Fast play, the ball has Foran giving it to Watmo. An inside pass, it required some good defence, and it was Sims again who made the tackle, but gives away a penalty for hanging on too long in the tackle.
He just denied Watmo a chance to get a quick play the ball. He was on his feet quickly. Sims still hanging onto the leg, the play the ball leg.
And they tap it and go, and George Rose it is who works it towards the uprights. If you have a question mark about the Cowboys' title credentials this year, it's their defence, which has been questioned. A chance here for Manly to try and crack it. But their defence so far tonight has been good, especially at this end of the field.
Yeah, and especially on that side of the field. Kane Linnett, Jonathan Thurston doing a good job first, and then taking the odds to the intercept. You could see Stewart looming up on the inside. Oh, he did read it. He just couldn't get his hands on it. Thurston, which might have been interesting if he was able to pull that one back in.
Come on, Cowboys, just get it sorted.
More pressure coming up on this Cowboys line.
2 hands on the ball.
Manly with best bit of possession at this end of the field. 4 and a step, and he gets across the line as well. He was able to beat Dallas Johnson, bursting from the scrum. What a lovely left foot step by the Kiwi international. And it's Manly who have the first points here tonight.
Well, there were some good signs from Kieran Foran last week. And again, just the footwork. Dallas Johnson out of the scrum, defending at 5'8". Just slips over. James Tarmo almost got there, but Foran got a big left foot on him. He hasn't been able to find his rhythm much this year either. The ball from Stewart. Spent a fair bit of time off the field with injury, and played with injury too. A nice little inside ball to Watmo in their previous set, so he's obviously thought that it was time to put the foot down in his second try of the year.
His try against the Seagulls here tonight means he's going to try against every team in the NRL except the Bulldogs. He might get a chance to do that. And a big game to come this September potentially as Lyon converts from beside the uprights. And it's the visitors who lead here at Dairy Farmer 6 points to 0 as we go downstairs to Ben Ikin.
It's good to see Daly Cherry-Evans and Kieran Foran playing some quality football together. They basically won the game last week for Manly. I know there were other contributors, and tonight they've started off the game with a real bang. And if Manly are going to be any hope in 2012, their 6 and their 7 need to be playing their best football.
Well, you're right about them getting them home last week. Foran, Cherry-Evans involved in everything. And an avalanche of points that came at the back end of the game to deny the Warriors. Here's Rose working it up, and he'll play it just outside the 20. You're telling you a drought first half points this year, but they score first here tonight. Cherry-Evans, here he is again, running himself into touch. But it was quite a burst down the narrow side, and they look likely on this right edge, don't they?
Well, it was a lovely little short side play there out of their own end. Second man play. Jamie Lyon goes through. Glenn Stewart picks up Cherry-Evans. He had support back on the inside. There was just a few Cowboys in between him and the support runners. Couldn't get the ball back and put his foot into touch before he threw the pass. Nice involvement from the 7. Backing up the try from his partner in the halves.
Jamie Williams now. Tony Williams, hold!
Linnett plays a 10 on his own side of halfway, and Winterstein works with a good carry until he met Glenn Stewart and also George Rose, one of the players wearing decorated boots tonight to try and raise some funds for the Close the Gap cause this weekend. And the tackle again on Sims this time was Rose. Now Thurston heading out towards Michael Morgan, who shows a clean pair of heels and goes straight through them. Stewart playing close to the line, made the tackle, and he had to as well. Bowen gives it to Hall, who runs towards Williams, and he'll play it about 12 metres out from the Manly line. Ray Thompson is out there working things through. The Cowboys from dummy half now for Aaron Payne. The quick tap backwards, play on, still the last. Not played out by Manly. Thurston has a wild air swing and finds the line, and it should be Manly who get possession from the scrum feed.
Well, Michael Morgan has got a good ability to beat a defender. Ray Thompson's been missing for the last 3 games, which has seen Morgan play halfback. There's the hand by Linnett, knocks it back to Cooper. Just trying to keep the ball alive. Manly don't really want to make a play at it that close to the sideline after the original error from the Cowboys. Jamie Lyon just getting some attention. Gash in his head.
Picked up a stray elbow as Kevin Cooper, I think it was, who spun and tried to flick the ball, keep it alive. As a result, he's picked up a bit of a nut. A cut just in the hairline there. Watch it again as he just spins here, and there it is. Banged him right in the top of the hairline.
feet. Come on. Yours.
Manly win the scrum, and it's Williams. Passed away from Johnson, and also Hall gives it to Maddai. And he comes one-on-one with Brent Tate. Now to Phil. Playing it for Ballon. Across to Joe Nullivar, who's out there now. Another change made by Jeff Tuvey. Looking his forward rotation. Another bench man. Rose offloading. Thurston got there, knocked it backwards and picked it up and gets possession for his side. A clever piece of play. And the great Thurston.
How many times does he come up with those sorts of plays, whether it's a strip, one-on-one strip, that he just read the pass perfectly.
Thompson playing it for Ashley Graham to get out from dummy half and play it just outside the Manly 30. A chance to level up. As Williams comes to grips here with Dallas Johnson. They'll play it for Thompson, who spent plenty of time in the off-season working at dummy half for Neil Henry. On the wraparound, Thurston. Legs tackled there from Cherry Evans. They'll have one more tackle. They've got them struggling on this side. Bowen kicks. Pressure on Williams. He has to take it out. And the Cowboys are forced a goal line dropout.
Yeah, nice little kick there from Matt Bowen. Out of dummy half. Jamie Lyon didn't get a touch to it. David Williams had to make a play, and Linnett was there. Thurston, the old run around, almost seeing Jonathan Thurston squeeze his way through a hole.
Let's go, Daly, come on.
Manly being urged to hurry up by the referees. Still taking their time. Cherry Evans in no rush at all as they just a few extra seconds for a breath. Now the goal line dropout works out pretty well for them once again. Morgan has to go back to his one side of halfway for the second time to retrieve it. It's Ashton Sims who'll play it here to get them underway. Matt Scott working it forward. Some forward firepower on display here tonight, isn't there? Now first, going to Gavin Cooper. Runs towards Cherry Evans, and he'll play it just outside the Manly 20. Thompson showing it to Thurston, giving it to Sims. Cooper had a little 3-on-2 for a moment there, but Williams did well to come up and close the gap down between the man with the ball and Linnett on his outside. And as a result, Cooper hung on to it. Thurston to the line, going out the back. Morgan on the sweep. Bowen showing it, stepping once more. Going for the line, and he's half a metre short. In fact, he lost it.
Well, gee whiz, once he got inside Kieran Foran there, it looked like Matt Bowen was going to find his way to the try line. It was some desperate defence inside Foran, inside Williams. Anthony, what was George Rose coming across? Big George parks himself on the try line. And there's Matt Bowen, just a little drop there. And I think it was George Rose's hands that came in there that helped the ball out. So a big play by the front rower. Anthony Watmo also with it. There's the errors, 8-3. Too many for the Cowboys.
Ben Eichen was talking about completion rates not that long ago. The Cowboys coming here tonight. The second worst completion rate in the NRL at just over 70%. Only the Roosters have a worse completion rate, but they score plenty of points. The third most in the NRL on average. Now it's Manly's turn to turn it over. And the Cowboys get another chance here from just outside the 20.
Joe Nullivar coming up with the error. And just trying to play the ball while he was still had Cowboys all over the top of him. I know it's a key to get a quick play the ball, but you don't want to make a mistake like that. Just defended a set. And I'll have to do it again.
Matt Bowen and Jonathan Thurston have been probing, unable to come up with points as yet. Can't afford to keep giving them chances from this sort of range with a full set of 6. Here is Thurston losing it, knocked backwards. That'll be play on for Manly. And the ball squeezed from Thurston's hands in the tackle. And now Manly off the hook, have it through Nullivar at their own 30-metre line.
Well, they hold the ball for 6 tackles there. You like their chances of getting across the line. Williams a good run, but the Cowboys again come up with an error and a costly time.
Steve Maddai going from dummy half. Again, I'm sure he thought that the marker was a long way from the play the ball, and Hall got involved in the tackle. He was deemed to be onside, or at least square at marker. Now Rose playing it as Watmo goes. Puts the foot down, just a simple hit up. Test them out. See how honest the big men are on the defensive line as four, and chips over the top. Graham trying to spin away from his tackle. And he'll play it 5 metres out from the Cowboys line. Here's Tate coming wide, straight to Thurston, bouncing away from David Williams. He got away from Glenn Stewart, coming across the field a long way from his left side defensive position. Foran made a tackle, and here he is again, stopping Linnett. He sensed the danger for him as Thurston was able to beat the first of the defenders. And he comes across to make it a hat-trick of tackles as the Cowboys bring it back to the halfway line. Now Thurston. Here's Morgan again. Bowen, quick hands. Away to Tate. Coming across. Too much speed there for George Rose. Hanging on to him. Tafua only just was able to drag him down. Now Morgan puts it up in the air. Brett Stewart backpedaling, standing underneath it, makes a good catch. Looking up into the lights here at Dairy Farmers and the Moths. Williams it is who will play a 10 out from his own line. Well, all the work that Kieran Foran did on this side of the field, he's still working his way back behind the Manly attack there. It did leave them short out to the right, almost taking advantage of it, the Cowboys. Slow play the ball here by Williams, and as you could hear Shane Haynes saying he was trying to do his best to milk a penalty. He got no joy. Here's what offload at the line for T-Rex to get away from Morgan to give it to Tafua. George's tackle, 10 on his own side of halfway. Jamie Buhrer is out there now in his trademark headgear, replacing Matt Ballin. And now Nullavow showing it, straightening, getting across the halfway line. 4 minutes out from the break, just the one try so far. Now Lyon kicking once again down this narrow side. Bowen waiting for it. See if they can shepherd him into the corner, and Jamie Buhrer coming through was able to get a piece of him and stop him just outside the Cowboys 10.
Yeah, not a bad ploy, is it, for Jamie Lyon to put the ball along the sideline and get up in the middle of the field. It does reduce the impact that Matt Bowen can have.
Glenn Hall, a good carry. The run end of the field. Intensely there, the line split at least from the Sea Eagles. So they had them deep in their own territory. But they're back to the halfway line, the Cowboys, and unlucky once again. A little leniency has been shown here tonight by the referees. What I've seen, as far as the markers are concerned, they're a long way from the play the ball on occasion. And again, Thompson right there thought he had them in an offside position. No whistle. And it's play on. The penalty's 3-2 in favour of the Cowboys after almost a half of football. Tafua to play it. That's Buhrer. Goes to Cherry Evans. Here's Glenn Stewart giving it to Lyon again on the outside of Thurston. He was able to take him to ground. Two of the superstars of the game. Head to head on this near side of the field in the first half. David Williams playing it. Lyon, Cherry Evans. Darcy Lussick is back out there. Ashton Sims going to pull off a big shot. And now Brett Stewart. Wasn't a great kick. In fact, it will easily go dead. As it takes a return by Matt Bowen out of the equation. And the Cowboys will have it with the optional restart from the 20.
Yeah, that did look like what he was trying to do. And that's put it dead. And it's slowed everything down. So get their line set. They've come up with a good shot too. Joe Nullavow. Lussick.
Too slow on the play the ball this time. And just inside 2 minutes remaining, the Cowboys can take some meters here and have the last crack at scoring in this first half. They'll have it from 40 metres out. It was a great kick for Lyon as well. Thurston barking the instructions. Trying to organise something, and here is Michael Morgan giving it off. Matt Scott able to get away from the tackle there of Anthony Watmo. He brushed through it, and he plays it just outside the 30. Thurston with players in motion. One of them is Bowen wrapping around the back. Not much success on the sweep on this left side tonight between the two of them. Thurston again a close hand. Giving it to Johnson. This one's a settler. Try and draw some defenders in on this side of the field and set it up for a spread on the right-hand side. He now goes to the short side. Gives it to Cooper. Spinning in the tackle. They're 10 metres out. 2 plays left in this set. Again, Thurston not far from the action. Just turning it forward underneath him. At the back for Thompson. Thurston gets a chance to go wider to Morgan. In and away. And then again, and somehow slid through the line. They only just wrapped him up. Stewart helping out Kieran Foran. Thompson, a grubber. A chance for the Cowboys. Did it beat everybody? Yes, it did. Nobody got a touch on it. And Manly escaped there. It could have been costly. They're all hunting up, looking for the ball. It beat everybody.
Yeah, Ray Thompson just getting it through the legs of the defenders there. And Ash Graham came flying in field. And too far, the ball beat him and George Tafua. I'll take their time, Manly.
Glenn Stewart will work it forward. Denied first time around by the video referee, Manly. They eventually scored. As the siren sounds, they will take a 6-0 lead to the Sheds at the break. The lone try scored in the 25th minute by Kieran Foran. A better half of football from Manly to open this one on the road tonight after making the trek all the way to Perth last week. They're in a better position tonight here against the Cowboys as they go off at halftime. Let's go downstairs to Ben.
Well, it hasn't been the prettiest half of football, but here's what I know. The Manly Seagulls can win ugly. They proved that as late as last week against the New Zealand Warriors. The Cowboys, I'm not so sure that they can play off the back foot, but they're going to get their chance here in this second 40. They're 6 points behind on the scoreboard. All the momentum's with the Seagulls. What can the Cowboys do?
They need to show something in attack in the second half. They had a few chances, were unable to score. We'll take a break and come back with the highlights at halftime right here on Super Saturday. Seagulls 6, the Cowboys 0 in Townsville. A lot to play for here tonight. It's an all top 8 battle. The finals looming on the horizon for both these clubs. Where will they finish once we get to September? Tomorrow will help us work out the top 8 as well. We'll go part the way to it when the Warriors host the Sharks live from Mount Smart Stadium in Auckland. Toyota Cup action from 9:30 a.m. tomorrow. It's an early one. The Raiders then take on the Brisbane Broncos at Canberra Stadium. Plenty riding on that for the Brisbane Broncos after being beaten by the Eels last Monday night. That's from 2 o'clock Eastern. And then the Gold Coast Titans taking on the South Sydney Rabbitohs, looking for 6th straight win, the Bunnies. That's a replay game from 6 p.m. Eastern on Fox Sports 2 and Fox Sports 2 HD. Don't forget about NRL Extra right after Monday Night Football. Matty Johns, Gordon Tallis, and the boys will bring you all the plays from this intriguing run into the finals in 2012. Lara Pitt will bring us updates from every team, interviews, plus all the injury and judiciary news as well. That is NRL Extra, as always, right after Monday Night Football this week from Campbelltown when the Tigers take on the Parramatta Eels. The Seagulls heading back out. Let's go downstairs to Ben, this time with Tarek Sims.
Well, Tarek, been out for a while now. First things first, how's the injury coming along?
Mate, it's coming along very nicely. You know, the coaches and the doctors and my physio are very happy. You know, they're saying that I'm a couple of weeks ahead of where I should be. So, look, mate, I can't complain about it. Everything's going good. I didn't miss too much training. So, you know, I think I was out for about 2 or 3 weeks and then I got straight back into it, mate. So I didn't put up too much.
All right, when are we going to expect you back on the field?
Mate, we're hopefully thinking about round 25 up here against the Knights, so that'd be good. But, mate, yeah, I'm just taking it day by day at the moment, mate, and, you know, the baby steps at the moment.
Well, good luck. Hope to see you back on the field soon.
Thanks, mate.
What a bonus would it be for the Cowboys to have Tarek Sims back in action before the finals. The second half begins with Jonathan Thurston supplying the kickoff. It bounces down to Kieran Foran. He gives it off to Darcy Lussick, who is headed towards Parramatta in 2013. He gets upended here, and he resented the tackle. He got up, shoving players in the play the ball there. Boy, it was a big impact between Lussick and the turf here in Townsville. Referees were happy it wasn't a dangerous position that he was put in. And Watmo will play it just short of the 40. Burer from dummy half. He played a role in that comeback in the second half. Good work out of that position. He replaced Matt Ballon in the second 40 last week. Really got them going. Here he is beginning the second half after replacing Ballon in the opening 40 this week. And Cherry Evans puts it up in the air. Bowen going to the air to take it. Steve Maddai was thereabouts again looking for a shot on the Cowboys custodian. He got up, he might have worn one for his trouble there as well, Matty Bowen, as Tate shuffles as he comes towards Foran, and he'll play it there. Ashley Graham, leading try scorer despite missing a couple of weeks of action. Back tonight for the Cowboys, that's a boost. Been unstoppable so far in 2012, and now a ball from the play. The ball comes away quickly before the play. The ball, Thompson gave it on to Thurston. And he almost loses it, JT. He just hung on to it. Now Scott, he offloads, trying to keep it alive, trying to work these forwards over early in the first set of 6 they have. Maybe tipping their hand here for their tactics in this second half. Bowen puts it up, standing underneath it. Stewart makes an easy catch and then gives it off to Fua. He's ran it up straight away. Do we see a change of plan there from the Cowboys in that set, Brandy?
Well, we could have a couple of good offloads from the front row as Ashton Sims and Matt Scott both popping up balls for Jonathan Thurston to continue on. It did move the Manly defence around. This might be a way to break it open. They couldn't in the first half.
A flat pass there from Jamie Burer to Anthony Watmo. It really was flat at best. Now Brett Stewart. He's there by Tate, and they've used up 4 plays already in this set of 6. They'll spread to the right-hand side to try and get themselves out of their own end. It might be successful. Lyon puts in a kick over the top, not a deep one. It puts some pressure on the Cowboys defenders, getting back to clean it up, and Gavin Cooper won the race to it. It turned out to be not a bad kick. A half defensive, half attacking kick by Jamie Lyon. A bit of a bet each way.
There's another offload.
They certainly have changed their thinking. They want to try and keep the ball alive here. So what they tried in the first half didn't really work, especially at the other end of the field. And they had chances close to the Manly goal line. Scott will play it. Comes from Thompson, still out there for Aaron Payne at the moment. Lussick jumping in the tackle, and they're going to say it was a high tackle.
Well, that was Lussick trying to square up. Ashton Sims involved in the heavy shot on Lussick that ended him on the flat of his back early in this half. And, well, that is crazy stuff there from Darcy Lussick. That's an elbow to his head.
And he's been placed on report on the advice of the video referee, Stephen Clark, who saw the same replay you did at home. Darcy Lussick leading with a forearm and an elbow, making contact there with Ashton Sims.
What, really? Is that worth it for a square up on a hard tackle?
We'll have a concern on Monday when the match review committee looked at that. For the moment, though, it's Cooper who takes it inside the Manly 10. Searching for their opening try of the game. Thurston comes across to Matt Scott. Leading there in a 3-man tackle. Lussick, Nullavow, Watmo all involved. Here's Thompson spinning it back to Thurston. He goes in behind Gavin Cooper. It comes away to Winterstein. Running back towards the uprights, and he almost went over the top of Darcy Lussick. He got some help from Watmo and Nullavow once again. Thompson couldn't find Morgan. Eventually he did. Tate stepping. Not much doing there on this right-hand side. A wall of maroon jumpers. He got a ball away, though. It came back to Thompson. And they'll get 6 more tackles with the Manly defence up inside the 10 on this left-hand side.
Oh, great ball there from Brent Tate. Back on the inside. Ray Thompson almost getting to the try line, but they've got a full set of 6. Matt Bowen.
He'll kick to the line and bring it back about 10 metres away from the Manly try line. Here's Thompson giving it to Glenn Hall. 5 5 metres away. And the tackle there of Tony Williams, they play. Comes back to Sims, who was nabbed around the legs by Anthony Watmo, working hard towards the left-hand side on that occasion. Morgan, an awkward one to handle. Thurston holding it up. Bowen through the gap, bursting. What a tackle, though, by Brett Stewart. Fullback on fullback. Now Thurston once again. A variation on the sweep play on their previous play, which almost brought them a dividend. Now Thompson coming to Scott, running towards Bura. Another offload from the front row. Back to Morgan. Heading towards Glenn Hall and Tate on this right-hand side. But they'll wrap him up 10 metres out. And they'll have one more tackle here. Thurston with Bowen in behind him once again. They go at the back this time. 3 on 2. Quick hands. Lit it to Winterstein. Couldn't handle it. And Manly have hung on once again.
See, they've got some clever defenders on that side of the field. Manly, David Williams doing a great job again, but his inside men, Glenn Stewart, Jamie Lyon, and Daly Cherry Evans, just shutting down anything that Jonathan Thurston and the Cowboys throw at them. That was a lovely variation. Jamie Bura also there to hang on to Matt Bowen.
It was a terrific tackle made by Brett Stewart, wasn't it, on Matty Bowen. When he put the foot down, looked likely to score. Here's Tony Williams running towards Michael Morgan, an offload. A pass that didn't need to be thrown. Oh, and now a tackle by Tafua on Tate after the event.
Knock on, the pass is okay, and it's a Cowboys hand, knocks it down.
Well, they're going to say the pass from Tony Williams was okay. It looked to be a long way forward.
Well, it was a lazy pass from Tony Williams. Whether it went forward or not, there was certainly a Cowboy hand in there. I don't think Brent Tate got his fingertips to the ball. Was it not forward or back? They've called it forward. And Manly get away with that one because it was a sloppy play there from Tony Williams. Too many Cowboys around to be throwing a pass like that.
They do get away with one, and here is the man in question. Tucking it under his arm this time, and will play it. Not on his own side of halfway. Bura. It's back to Nullaval. It's Cherry Evans. Glenn Stewart. Some players in surplus here for Manly on this right edge. Lyon goes to David Williams. A little 4-on-3 that they worked. And only just able to wrap up the winger. Bura gives it off to Watmo, who heads towards the uprights. They've used up 4. Can they extend their lead, which stands at 6 into the second half? Foran giving it to Tony Williams. Basketball pass over the top. Matai gave it to Tafua. Nothing doing in front of him, and he's wrapped up comfortably there by Tate. They'll have one more tackle. Brent Kite is back out there at dummy half, feeding it away to Bura, who just hoofs it towards the uprights. Thurston is there to take it, and the tackle there of Glenn Stewart. Now Lyon is driven back to the in goal. No, he will stay only just in the field of play.
Shane Hayne saying Jamie Lyon didn't drag him back into the in-goal area. Some desperate stuff there. Tackle 3, the Cowboys just outside their 10-metre.
Here is Sims working it away. Scare there for the Cowboys after Thurston looked to have cleaned it up. Really battled to keep possession for them. It's limits. That 15 shot off the halfway line on the last tackle here. Thurston under some pressure from inside his own 40, but drills it low and hard down the middle of the park. Was able to find the turf. That was pretty clever with the defenders rushing out towards him, and as a result, Tafua has a link up here with Williams, and he'll play it inside the Manly 30.
Yeah, just during that whole set that Manly had the ball on the Cowboys line, Daly Cherry Evans was receiving attention. Back on halfway. He's still struggling a bit too.
He's clutching at his left shoulder behind the play as they work it up, and here is Brent Kite barreling into a tackle, taken to ground by Scott and also Cooper. And a ball that goes out the back, and Foran loses it. There's a knock on against Manly. Well, they're going to say it's play on. Here's Matai giving it to Tafua. They've had a couple of calls go their way at this corner of the field, haven't they? They're very lucky that the second fumble there by Foran, which to go straight down, wasn't ruled a knock on. And as a result, Lussick takes it across the halfway line, and he'll play it here for Bureau. Goes to Cherry Evans to kick it to the corner. Should have too much. And will go out of play beyond the dead ball line, and the Cowboys will bring it back out to the 20. Could have been a lot worse for Manly, though.
Yeah, Kieran Foran, you're right. The second time he played at that football, it did look like he knocked it forward. I don't know whether the ball actually got to the ground, though. It might have saved him.
Now ball out the back in a tackle from the Cowboys. Tamo ejecting one. He went back the way of Antonio Winterstein, who is worked over here by Kite and also Williams. Lussick again up looking for a shot, trying to make an impact. He's played that role off the bench for Manly in his time in first grade, but tonight a chance in the starting side with Jason King brought out of this game with that rib injury picked up last week in Perth. Now Ashley Graham, he keeps it alive. It bounces up for Thurston. Didn't want to know much about it, so he gives it to Tamo, who gets a chance to wind up, and he can really scoot if you give him a chance. It was picked off there by Foran, and now Michael Morgan on play number 5, heading back towards the wing of Matai and also to Fua. And they'll play it on the last as Thurston goes across to Bowen. He puts it in the air. David Williams standing underneath it. Well, didn't get anywhere near it in the end. The Cowboys pick it up. A chance to score. Linnett gets across the line. They want to check it.
A last tackle. So look at the contest here, mate.
It looks as though the Cowboys have their first points of the night.
Yeah, it does look good. There's some confusion out on that side of the field. Daly Cherry Evans and David Williams both looking at each other. Cherry Evans was really never in a position to catch the high ball from Thurston. He throws it back out to Bowen. Bowen's the man that puts it up. There's David Williams, who's just checking on side. The Cowboys look okay. Cherry Evans just trying to run players. In the end, the ball hits him on the head. He's just trying to run some block play there for David Williams to get his hands on the ball. And it looks like he's done enough to get it across the line.
Just confirm the grounding. It looked like it came down on the line initially. He certainly had hold of it all the way. This will be the green lights for the Cowboys. It won't be the last time they bomb away to that corner, because David Williams had issues last week against the Warriors in Perth under the high ball. They didn't really get themselves sorted out between Cherry Evans and Williams that time around either. Try apiece, and a kick coming up for Jonathan Thurston to make it 6 points all. Just a real miscommunication there in the end. I think Williams thought Cherry Evans floating back with the direction of the ball was going to try and make a play.
Well, really, it was never Cherry Evans. The ball was going over the top of his head. And I'm sure you could see Cherry Evans there say to David Williams, it's your ball. He's talking to him there. There was a quick look. Williams actually took his eyes off the ball. And the Manly players all just crowded him. Made it tough for him to take it too.
No doubt it was David Williams' ball to be caught. Linnett scores his 7th try in his last 7 games for the Cowboys. Now about 15 in from touch. Jonathan Thurston with a very kickable one for a kicker of his caliber. Strikes it beautifully and hooks it back. And we're locked up here in Townsville. It's a battle worthy to contestants looking for the same spot in the top 4. 6 all with just under half an hour remaining at Dairy Farmer Stadium here tonight. Interesting day of rugby league so far, hasn't it? Tries coming in a burst in the opening 2 games, and now in this one it's been a grinding affair for the most part, but the Cowboys are on the board. We'll see if they maintain their style of play, trying to keep it alive and offload in tackles. And here is Tamo. Well, there's no question they have really changed their methodology in their second half, their MO, their way of going about things. Now Tate down the short side, working it across the 40-metre line, getting a bit of the tension there over the top from Kieran Foran. Graham coming and doing a bit of ball playing. And pretty good doing it as well. Here's Bowen. Defend a step. Trying to get away from Watmo. He's able to do that. Runs away from Lussick. Links up with Tamo. There are some numbers here for the Cowboys. To Fua. That's a good stop. He need to make a tackle there. Otherwise they were going a long way. They still may do. They put it down. Aaron Payne, fresh on the field, can't come up with it.
Well, they're offloading at will. Obviously, the message has come through that if you can get a pass away at all, push it. Tamo, some light footwork there. And look, even though the hit from Taful was a good one, it was a quick play the ball, and they were coming at Manly. Tamo on the inside, along with Aaron Payne, and he just couldn't handle it. Good passage from the Cowboys. There's the difference in the offloads in this half.
On the back of the scrum win, Shane Hanel hangs it up in the play there, the referee. Avoided the contact with the ball and the players. Here's Watmo. Bringing it back to the halfway line. A good one here, haven't we, tonight? Low scoring as it is. So much riding on the result. Kite. Working it forward. Scott Bolton is out there now. Johnson and Tamo. Tamo has been a big part of this resurgence in the second half since coming off the bench for Neil Henry. A short side raid. Matai coming to Tate. Got to put a little step on as he came across in cover. Tate was equal to the task, and Matai plays it just inside the 20. We've got 2 plays left in this set. Cherry Evans to Glenn Stewart. Out the back to brother Brett. A little one-handed flick pass knocked on there by David Williams. And the Cowboys will have it.
Scott, I'll give you the
Scrum feed coming up, 20 out from their own line. They looked likely. Glenn Stewart out there linking up with his brother. Giddly flick, if you like, and Williams couldn't reel it in.
No, they get it right a lot of times, Manly. Not that time, David Williams. It was a tough one for him. Again, we've given Manly plenty of raps for their defence on that side of the field. Linnett has been outstanding. Outstanding up against a quality attacking trio in front of him.
On the other side of the field, Tate and Matai have gone at it. Call the honours even at the moment, and now the Cowboys get a penalty from Brent Kite. A little high with the contact and the tackle. And the Cowboys get a helping hand out of their own end. He's just reaching out. Just a cuffing job around the jaw there of Antonio Winterstein.
Gee, it was only just too.
Yes.
Only just. Penalty 7-2. Help the Cowboys.
Had an edge there. Just to be very unhappy about the penalties and the refereeing a couple of weeks ago against the Bulldogs. Here is Tamo. He's a handful from 20 metres away. He'll play it here for Aaron Payne, a dummy half. He turns it back on the inside there. A chance for Scott Bolton. He runs towards Watmo and Kite. And first is left. They come right with Morgan and Bowen. They go to the front man, though. It was Glenn Hall trying to charge at Kieran Foran and also Ballon. Last play, Bowen's kick bounces off defenders, and Ballon is spun into the in goal. They're going to say he remains in the field of play, and it's Manly to work it off their own line again. A kick from close range, not going to plan for the Cowboys.
Well, the short kicking game from both sides has been questionable. Not a terrible result. Ballon had to. Well, he was desperate to get that football and stay in the field of play.
Cherry Evans coming away to Lyon. They worked it away from their own 20. Thurston again able to stop him, but they pick up some metres with the spread. And now Williams out of dummy half against a disorganised defensive line. Works it beyond the 40. That's 2 big plays for Manly after being trapped well inside their own 20 after 3. Cherry Evans with the clearing kick. Bounces off its point. It's a friendly bounce for Matty Bowen. I can link up there with Ashley Graham, who was a long way from the action. So he takes the tackle. We're midway through this second half. Linnett and strong again tonight. A breakthrough season. The left centre, Cooper. become a fixture also on that side of the field for Neil Henry and the Cowboys, and Payne feeds it off here. Footwork at the line there from Scott Bolton. Nobody was going to be fooled by it though, and three of them made the tackles. Thurston kicks, looking for a chasing Ashley Graham, but he picked out Brett Stewart. The strike wasn't a clean one from Thurston. He'll be admonishing himself for that kick as it gave Stewart a chance to run onto it, and when he gets that chance, anything can happen.
Yeah, I just thought there was a touch from a Manly player as the ball went through. The bounce was a kind one for Brett Stewart. Vic Morrow, a couple of touches in the game so far.
Here's Watno. Become his role, hasn't it, over the last season or so? The middle of the tackle count, put the foot down and get those metres and earn a fast play the ball. Now Maddai, it's a pass away for Tafua. Bounces off the shoulder there of Michael Morgan. And they've got one more tackle here from just outside the Cowboys 20. Here's Foran under pressure. They're up in his face. Cherry Evans, though, skips to the outside. That's where he's dangerous. He puts a kick in. Wittgenstein gets back there, fends away from Cherry Evans and brings it back into the field of play. But has he hurt himself?
He has. He copped a stray one from Glenn Stewart.
Just check.
As he was falling, I don't know what it was from Glenn Stewart as Cherry Evans and Stewart came in. I just might have been the left hand as he fell into the tackle. Oh no. Not much in it at all. I didn't even see any contact with the head.
Hang on, not yet. Matt, come up, mate, please.
His left
Just don't
wrist
jump here, Steve. Don't jump
concerning him at the moment. Popped the knee accidentally of Glenn Stewart. Left forearm as he went to ground. So the Cowboys off their own line. Can't split them at the moment. And Joel Reithmuller, who is out there as they work it away from their own line. Let's go downstairs to Ben.
Well, the game is well and truly in the balance at the moment. I just get the sense that this is exactly the type of rugby league that Manly likes to play. This is when they win footy games. So it's going to be a really good test for the Cowboys. They've had the guts of this momentum for the first half of this second half of footy. They've had all the penalties, they've had all the field position, but they haven't been able to get enough points. They've now made a mistake in their own half, and momentum now just starting to shift back the way of the Seagulls.
Yeah, that was a great set from the Seagulls. The kick from Daly Cherry Evans down into the in-goal area. And Scott Bolton's made a mistake on tackle 3 as they try and work it out. Well, there could be an argument that there was Manly players all over him. Vic Morrow on the ground there. They described it perfectly then, the referees. Tried to play it too quick and got himself off balance.
Let's go, Glenn. Let's get the heads in.
Manly have made something of a habit of winning close results this season, winning 6 of their 8 matches by 6 points or less. It looks to be a close one in the offing here tonight with just on 18 minutes remaining. A pretty good record away from Brookvale Oval in tight ones as well this season. And they've won everywhere. Internationally, they've won in New Zealand this year in round 1. They won in Perth last week. Here they are in Queensland this week, looking for an important victory in this race for a top 4 position. Williams, the player, 10 metres away. Ballon from dummy half. Can they edge ahead here once again? Kite running towards Tamo and also Bolton. Ballon from dummy half. Comes through Foran. Williams to Brett Stewart. What a lovely ball. Stewart bounced across the line. And they want to check it for a double movement.
They're checking double movement here, mate. And just check there's no obstruction. And obstruction, mate. And obstruction before that, mate.
Well, there's the call. He swept around the back of one of his teammates there, Brett Stewart. Tony Williams was the provider of the ball. Not his usual role, but a quick pass from Foran to Williams. Maddai through. Maddai does a great job to evade Brent Tate. Steps away from him, and they're going to check whether Stewart has bounced over the try line or helped himself.
Brent Tate bounced back to his feet to complain immediately about the contact with Maddai, and there's no question Maddai checked Brent Tate, and Tate was the man who was coming from the inside to make a tackle, and they've been pretty
consistent,
tough and consistent on this sort of play and this sort of contact in games so far this season. And again, Steve Clark looking at it, remembering Steve Clark was the referee in the controversial non-call in the obstruction play, the Shepherd in Origin 3 with Greg Inglis this year. And I don't know that we're going to even get to the point of looking at the double movement. I'm going to say it's a no try straight away.
Well, I thought he'd done enough, Steve Maddai, to get himself out of the road, but the smallest of touches counts as obstruction. It's the decoys runner's job to get out of the road completely. He looked like he stepped his way out of the reach of Brent Tate, but he's saying there was enough. Tate pushed off him to get himself over with the tackle anyway.
I'm happy with the call.
If they're going to go that way, they're going to go that way, and they need to continue to.
I mean, there's no doubt Tate wasn't given a 100% crack at getting to the man who got across the line in Stewart and denied that full opportunity. You've got to say it's a no try. There's a problem back behind the play here. So Anthony Watmoe sliding back to his haunches and clutching at his neck, remembering he's already had trouble this season with his neck, and now here he is, his right arm hanging almost limply by his side as he tries to get himself back in the defensive line. He does that now as the Cowboys have it just outside the Manly 30. First with the line, chipping over the top, looking for a repeat set, but they won't get one here. Tafua, well read, coming in, takes it on the full, and he'll play it just inside the Manly 10. Here's Maddai. A crucial stage of the game where an error could prove rather costly as Maddai plays it. Brent Kite working it forward, bouncing away from the initial contact. He takes it beyond the 20 for man. Ballon waiting at dummy half. Here's to Vic Morrow, who will try and play quickly. Both Reef Muller and Bolton trying to slow down the play of the ball. Bolton's working across from Marker, involved in the next play as well. Manly have one more. Boy, what a penalty to give away. Hands in the play, the ball on the last.
Yeah, that is a coach killer, that. Scott Bolton. He's done a reasonable job. Manly have always had someone to step up. There's either been the push to the edge or a run like that from Watmoe. Brent Kite in that set of 6. Some great charges to get them out of trouble.
So the grab on the arm there of Tamo on Watmoe, and that was enough for the whistle to be blown. Could potentially be a huge penalty as Kite plays it. Ballon goes across. Cherry Evans out ball there for Jamie Lyon. Runs into a tackle of Linnett and also Cooper. Maybe gets a whack in the face for his trouble. Might have been from Gavin Cooper getting back to his feet as Glenn Stewart. Ballon set upon straight away. Scott Bolton coming out of the line. Did well by getting to him and wrapping him up quickly. Now Kite at first receiver. Out the back for Foran. Matai on the outside of Tate, who had to get there in a hurry. He was able to come again. Otherwise, Matai gets to the line, and now he's injured as well. And picked up a leg injury. Cherry Evans back on the inside. Here's Morrow, will play it 8 metres out. Matai clutching at that right ankle. Last tackle here for the Sea Eagles. Cherry Evans, a delayed kick. The ball still there to be had. And they're going to say off a Cowboy into a player in an offside position.
And it was Gavin Cooper in front of Matt Bowen.
Touch Evans first.
It was a beautiful kick from Cherry Evans. Feigned a kick and shaped a kick. He had to create a bit more room for himself. Still got Steve Maddai down with a problem with his right ankle. And then Bowen, look, he stopped and then kicked. That's a great kick from Cherry Evans. And then it was Bowen into Cooper. And there's the Manly penalty. What a battle it has been between these two. Actually, I don't think I've seen a more absorbing battle on the edges of both rucks as we've seen tonight. Manly will take the 2.
As you would expect from right in front here, or right beside the uprights, in a 6-all game. Matai, hands of the trainer at the moment. Look at that picture there. You've got to wonder about his continuation in this game, although we've seen him so many times throughout his career look likely to leave the field, only to be able to continue on. He's back on the ground here now. They're going to try and tape him up and keep him out there with just over 13 minutes remaining. Jamie Lyon puts Manly in front at 8 points to 6. A converted try and a penalty goal against the converted try of the Cowboys. Matt High running repairs. He is hobbling. I think he said, "Oh, can't run."
Yeah, that didn't look like it helped him much, the strapping.
I've got to say, he's out of the game. He's taken himself out of the game. There he is in distress outside the field of play, and very quickly Jamie Buhrer bounced off the Manly bench, throws the headgear on, and he's into the fray. We'll wait and see what that means as far as this back line on this left edge for the Manly Seagulls defence in particular means. There's a kickoff bouncing away from Brett Stewart. There's some pressure as he picked up the ball from the chasing Reith Muller and also Aaron Payne, and he'll play a 10 out from his own line. Morrow trying to work it forward for the Seagulls. It's theirs to lose at the moment in a low-scoring game tonight here in Townsville. Glenn Stewart going to Jamie Lyon, coming towards Winterstein, who was defending a couple in from the wing. The 20 shot of the halfway line. Glenn Stewart once again giving it to Watmough, flinging it out the back. And he almost passed it to the referee, and Jared Sutton had to duck out of the way very quickly. Morrow again playing it here as they work it up towards the 40 through Pikes. There is Steve Maddow. His night is certainly over now. Going to the dressing sheds as Cherry Evans kicks it from his own side of halfway. Bowen bringing it back. It's a good chase from Manly. They've got the lead, and they're good front runners at this end of a game, aren't they? And it's only a narrow lead, but they'll kick and kick early if they can to make the Cowboys work it away from their own end, which is what they're doing now. Linnets has it. They'll play it at the Cowboys 30. Payne going back on the inside here for Scott Bolton. Here's Gray getting into dummy half and working it up towards the halfway line. 4 plays gone. Very much a safety first set of 6 from the Cowboys. Thurston hasn't had a touch. So they're just happy to take a settling set of 6 and then kick it and make Manly work it off their own line. They bomb away. Stewart underneath it, goes to the air. No contest from the Cowboys chasers. It was a pretty easy catch for a player of Stewart's calibre.
Well, they find themselves 2 points down. Manly go to the edge. The Cowboys, I think they need to revert back to the plan that they had in the opening minutes of this half, and that's offload the ball. They need to crack open this Manly defence.
Tafua playing it. Trying to milk one, and the referees want to know truck with that as Buhrer will play it here. 13 on his own side of halfway. Cherry Evans showing it, double punting it, coming back the other way. Up there by Tamo. And also Gavin Cooper. We'll have it here at the halfway line on the last. Ballon. Jamie Lyon, who kicks for the sideline. He almost put it into row 3. It's a big turnover. The Cowboys have it in great position at the halfway line to begin this set.
Normally safe Jamie Lyon when he's required to kick the footy. Cherry Evans played the ball. He was out of play, so the centre, James, the captain, had to do the job.
Hold it, Tony. Hold. Go.
So Payne out of dummy half, going to Scott, who was able to get away from Glenn Stewart's attempted tackle. And they're just outside the 30. Here's Morgan out the back here for Thurston. They go to the back line immediately now, and Bolton, the first man option, wrapped up there by Tony Williams. Thurston at dummy half, giving it to Reith Muller. He keeps it alive, goes to Gavin Cooper. Michael Morgan down in the back play, may have been taken after passing. Here is Thurston, Bowen out the back. Good play to Tate, who runs towards Buhrer. Gets away from him, looks for the line, and Stewart is there with Foran, and they save a try a couple of metres away. Payne from dummy half. Goes back to Thurston. He kicks wide. Cooper was there. Lyon couldn't come up with it. He certainly got a touch, and there'll be 6 more tackles here for the Cowboys. Matt Scott will play it 10 metres away. Thurston gives it to Tamo. Michael Morgan only just getting back into the attacking line now for the Cowboys as they go to the short side. Cooper spinning. From an effort by Brett Stewart and Kieran Foran it was to deny Tate on the other side of the field, which is where they come now. Thurston. He goes to Bowen, heading towards Tate once again. He got away from Williams. Foran stops him once again. 3 plays gone. 5 metres out. A try to hit the lead. A flat ball, a face ball from Thurston to Tamo. They were waiting for him. Good tackle by Glenn Stewart and Ballon. Here's Thurston again. He's everywhere. Back on the inside. A crash ball. Riefmuller can't force his way across. Last play, Payne for Thurston. At the back for Bowen. He put it down. And Manly, an enormous defensive effort on their own line.
Well, what an effort by them. The Seagulls, under all sorts of pressure, were able to withstand it. The Cowboys, like they did in the first half, coming up with an error during the tackle count when they could have applied some pressure. Jamie Buhrer missing the tackle on Brent Tate when Steve Maddai had left the field.
That's two. Up here, yeah, keep coming in, Gavin. That's it.
There really was enormous pressure on Jamie Buhrer. When Tate beat him, it looked as though he was going to score. But Manly hang on, and Watmo plays it. Buhrer at dummy half, giving it for Cherry Evans from inside his 40. He doesn't take a chance. He goes down the middle of the field. Bowen revving up. 7 remaining here in Townsville. He beats 2. Has Ashley Graham with him. And he's wrapped up by Cherry Evans. What a terrier-like effort from the Manly halfback, chasing off his own kick. Bolton to play as the Cowboys have a 25 on their own side of halfway. Another change made by the Cowboys with Ray Thompson coming back on as we go down to Ben.
Look, in tight games like this, you've got to find the smallest chink in the armour. I think the Cowboys have found it. They've got to get to the left-hand side in attack and play long to the right. Aim a lot of traffic at Jamie Buhrer. He's not familiar defending in the centres. He's already made an error. That's where they've got to go. They
go to the other side for the moment, though. Thurston a long ball. Linnett fending away from one. Wrapped up eventually 25 metres out from the Manly line. A slow play the ball on the last. Thurston will bomb away. He needs a good chase. The kick is too deep. Graham was coming, so was Tate. But Tafua was just back in the in-goal area.
He just shuffled his feet back into the in-goal area to take that one. Jonathan Thurston, what was he, 6 inches, a foot too long. If it had landed on the try line, things could have been a whole lot different. Brent Kite, as he's done for much of the game, doing the tough yards. That's his 12th run of the evening, and they've all been quality.
Off the back of picking up 150 metres last week against the Warriors in Perth off 17 hit-ups. Buhrer playing it. Here's George Rose who's back out there. Got away from Tamo. Wrapped up by Bolton and also Payne. And we have just over 5 minutes remaining. Foran to Tony Williams. Buhrer, nothing doing there. And they have one more tackle here, working it from a sideline. Kieran Foran at first receiver. Stewart, though, goes down the short side. Will grab her for touch and find it a couple of metres out from the corner post.
Yeah, just short of the corner post. Split the line, the sideline. Stewart, not his first kick of the night.
Let's go, Manly, come on.
Pretty good one, though, in that situation. Use up some time on the clock. Timeout now blown by Shane Hay. He had the angle worked out beautifully with the dummy and then coming back to the short side.
Yeah.
Couple of tired football teams right here. There is Steve Maddai, a forlorn sight back in the Manly dressing room with his foot in the ice bucket. Seems to be a good one either the way he was unable to even get into half a jog trying to rejoin the action. We'll try and bring you some news as to the severity of that injury. Very cagey with any news in that regard. Let's see what we have before we leave you tonight as Linnett works it down the field. Strong tackle there, a big contact between Linnett and Glenn Stewart. Was able to stop him, and now Matt Scott takes it across the 40. Time running out for the Cowboys. The good news is they only need the one score. Here is Thurston going to Bowen, going to the edge, giving it to Tate. A quick pass. Graham gets away from Foran. No, he doesn't. He forces a pass to Fua. Coming back with the play, comes up with it yet again.
Well, still a couple of tackles up their sleeves, the Cowboys, and they really stretched Manly there. Jamie Bura caught in field and out of position. It makes up for a good run out of dummy half. Crazy pass there from Ash Graham.
Manly a chance to put this one away right here. As Watmo takes it forward. Still going is Anthony Watmo. He's just outside the 20 with 3 plays left in this set of 6. Foran at first receiver. Goes out the back to Brett Stewart. Stands up both Thompson and also Bolton. And working from the inside, Reith Muller wrapped him up.
But he hurt his knee there, Brett Stewart, when he stopped. It looked like he jarred that left knee.
You might be right. He slumps back to the ground again. Here is Tony Williams trying to force his way over. And Brett Stewart is a bit proppy back behind the play. He goes to the short side now. The ball goes between his legs. It also gets away from Bura. And then the ball lost by the Cowboys. The first knock on against Manly. 3 remaining. With the Cowboys 90 metres away from where they need to be. Tamo to work it forward. They need to take a chance now from inside their own territory. And they're setting themselves up for a spread towards Thurston and Bowen from inside their own 20. That's where they go immediately. First man play. It was Lyon and Glenn Stewart. The old firm on that right-hand side making a good tackle. George Rose stopping Reith Muller, who will play it here for Payne. Here's Ray Thompson showing it. Returning from a shoulder injury here tonight. He's played a mixed role, dummy half, and also at first receiver. Thurston chipping over the top. Both he and Bowen hit the deck, but the referees were happy. There was nothing illegal in the play, and Manly have it through Glenn Stewart.
Yeah, the Manly players were just turning to try and retrieve the ball. Matt Bowen just couldn't find a way through. If he had it, well, it might have been interesting.
Here is Bura, weaving from dummy half. Running towards Thurston. Looking to get to his feet and play it quickly. Now George Rose. As we go inside the final 2 minutes. And the Cowboys, if they do get possession off the back of this set from Manly, will have one last crack at them. And imagine Manly would try and work it to an edge to take the ball out of play. Better still, Lyon can almost break them and send them deep into Cowboys territory. A ball lost from dummy half. They tried to pick it up and go quickly. Cherry Evans, he couldn't come up with it. And now the Cowboys have it with just on 70 seconds remaining in the game. What do they go to? What can Thurston or Bowen conjure right here? Manly won a game at the death last week against the Warriors in Perth. Can they hang on to another pivotal 2 points right here tonight? Reith Muller playing it. Payne goes to Thompson. Here is Thurston. Bowen back on the inside. They come wide to Tate. Foran coming across. Makes the tackle. 40 seconds remaining. 3 plays remaining. Thompson gives it to Tamo. A shuffle. A step. He gets it away. Graham down the sideline. Back on the inside. It bounced away from the Manly chasers. Bowen picks it up. He gives it to Thurston. Now there's a chance. He shows it. Goes to the edge. Links up. Linnett. He hangs on to it. He gives it to Winterstein. He's 10 metres away. Just on 10 seconds remaining. 2 plays left. It's all or nothing right here. Thurston on this play goes to the line. Bowen gets away. He gives it to Tate. Gets away from Bura. Keeps it alive. Tamo puts it in the air. Cooper jumps for it. Knocked on by the Cowboys. And Manly win. Manly have hung on in Townsville.
Well, what a frantic finish there. The ball on the ground. The ball in the air, the ball everywhere. Manly scrambling from left to right to try and halt things. In the end, the kick from James Tamo. Well, it was a Hail Mary and it didn't come off.
It developed a couple of times when they got the ball back When a pass hit the deck, it looked like Manly were going to get to it. George Rose couldn't come up with it. And then when they searched out to the left-hand side, there were numbers there for the Cowboys. They just couldn't find the right pass at the right time. And even still, a scramble off the kick by Tamo at the death had Manly under the pump massively. But what a win it is.
What a gritty win by Manly.
Well, let's hear from one of their heroes right now with Ben Ikin.
Well, it was a great win, Kieran Foran. You're making a habit of winning these tight ones.
Yeah, look, when you come in here, it was going to be probably one of our toughest challenges yet. We just spoke about getting back to that grind footy that we call our brand, and I thought we got back to it tonight. You know, we played percentages and managed to grind it out.
How far are the Manly Seagulls off being at their best?
Oh, still a while. You know, like everyone's aware, you know, it's just about getting our full 17 on the paddock. We were pretty much all there tonight, bar Jason King, so if we just keep working at getting our full 17 on the paddock, we can build some combinations, some rhythms, and hopefully build some momentum into the finals.
Fair to say you and Daly are starting to hit your straps at the right time of year, because you've had an injury-interrupted season. Yeah,
it has been a pretty interrupted season for myself. So, yeah, me and Daly are just working really hard on trying to lead these boys around again like we did last year, and we're building each game. We're only going to get better, so, yeah, it's just a work in progress.
Great win tonight, mate.
Thanks, Benny. Cheers.
Thanks, Kieran. Brent Tate, that was a loss tonight, but it wasn't through lack of effort. The Cowboys tried their hearts out.
Yeah, we did, mate. I thought, you know, probably our execution at times let us down. I thought, you know, our attack probably didn't flow tonight, especially the first half. You know, our completion was pretty ordinary, but I think it's just a belief thing with this team, mate. Once we get that belief that we can beat these top sides, you know, we're going to be a force to be reckoned with.
Your battle with Steve Maddai in the centres was an absolute ripper. Do you get yourself up when you know you're playing against quality opposition?
Yeah, you do. You know you've got to bring your physical game when you're playing him, because, you know, he likes to play it tough. So, you know, you've got to match him on that right edge. You know, got Williams and Maddai. But, you know, really disappointing tonight. But, you know, we've got a tough couple of weeks coming up. We just need to regroup and back up again.
Final's not far away. Where do the Cowboys need to improve to be a force in September?
I just think our patience and kicking game, mate. I thought, you know, we're just not able to build pressure with our fifth and last plays. And I think as a group, we've really got to help our halves out with that. But, yeah, we're not far off, mate. We're close.
Cheers, mate.
Thanks, mate.
Brent Tate and Kieran Foran joining Ben Ikin. A win by 2 points. The fourth time Manly has won by 2 points in 2012. What a 2 points on the premiership ladder it is. They're into fourth position. We will take a break and come back to wrap it all up on Super Saturday right after this.